Hello everyone, good evening. It's Keshav Intenica over here, and I'm going to teach you mathematics. And we have seen coordinate geometry in the previous sessions. In this session, we are going to start with quadratic equations. And before moving any further, I just want to request if you have not subscribed our channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss an update from us. And please visit our website www.letstute.com for a wide range of courses on maths and science. So in the previous sessions, we have seen what is about things about coordinate geometry, and in that we have learned distance formula, section formula, and area of triangle. And in this section, in this session, we are going to talk about quadratic equations. So how we are going to start is we are going to see what are quadratic equation and how to identify them. Okay, and also we'll see some of the basic things which we need to know regarding quadratic equation and also some examples. And our main aim is to properly understand what are quadratic equations. Okay, fine. uh, okay, let me start with an example. Okay, suppose let me take a rectangle. Okay, suppose there is a rectangular garden and we want to know the area of this rectangular garden. Okay, but what information we have is that whatever is the breadth, height is 3 meters less than this. So that means if I take x as the breadth, then 3 centimeter less than that would be this. Correct? And suppose we have the total area of this garden, say uh, 48. Okay, 48, or let me not take a weird number, let me take a simpler one. Say maybe 4 or -4. 4. Okay, say this is the area we have for rectangle. Okay, so we have the area formula for rectangle, right? What is the formula for area of rectangle? Area of rectangle is length multiplied by breadth. So this is say breadth and this is length. Okay, so according to this condition, we have L as x minus 3 and B as x and area as 4. So once we multiply and try to expand this brackets, what we're going to get is 4 equals to x multiplied by x, it is x squared minus 3 multiplied by x. So finally we will get x squared minus 3x plus 4 equals to 0. Correct? So, why I'm telling you this example? Sometimes when we solve quadratic equations, we don't understand where these equations are coming from. These are basically in mathematics, when we start solving quadratic equation, we directly start from this kind of equations, and we really don't understand where these are coming from. So basically you can create these equations from the real life scenarios, just now as we did here. Correct? We have taken a rectangular garden of breadth x and we have known that length is 3 centimeters or 3 meters less than the breadth, and we know the total area as 4. So once we applied in the formula of area, we got a quadratic equation. And when we solve this, we get the value of x. Okay. And once we get the value of x, we will come to know what is the length of the dimension of the breadth and the dimensions of the garden. Correct. So these are the basic things we need to know. First of all, quadratic. Quadratic. How to identify if the equation is quadratic? It's very simple. Whenever we have an equation, we need to check. Let me just take, yeah. Whenever we have an equation, we need to check the highest degree of the equation. Okay. Like in this case, the highest degree is 2 for the variable. Correct? In this equation, the variable is x. This is the variable. And the highest degree in the equation is 2. Correct? So whenever this is the case where the highest degree of a variable in an equation is 2, then that equation can be called as quadratic equation. And this is quadratic in x because the variable is x. Correct? Okay. So what is important is the highest degree. Okay. So now the question is, let's try to understand few more examples. Say, uh, is it a quadratic equation? Of course, it is a quadratic equation because the highest degree of variable is 2. Correct? That's what is needed as a condition for quadratic equation to identify the quadratic equation. Okay. So seeing this scenario, there is a general form, like standard form, standard quadratic equation. Standard quadratic equation, that is ax squared bx plus c equals to 0. So this is the standard quadratic equation. Okay, this a, b and c can be any real numbers. Okay, now the condition is the coefficient of x squared term cannot be 0, can never be 0 for quadratic equation. Suppose if it is 0, then what happens? If it is 0, then this whole term turns out to be 0, and we don't have the highest degree of equation as 2. So therefore we have to preserve the highest degree as 2 for the equation. Okay, so that's the reason we need to preserve this condition always. Okay, so whenever we have a quadratic equation, we need to make sure that the value of a is non-zero. Okay, so then only that equation is called as quadratic equation. Fine. Fine then. So how to figure out? Let's write the points. Highest degree of the variable of the equation be 2. So only then we can say that the given equation is a quadratic equation. Okay, now let us try to uh, represent some of the situations mathematically. Like I'm having some situations over here. Okay, right over here, example. Fine. It says there are two people, John and Jivanti. Okay, together have 45 marbles. So let me write here. Say this is John and Jivanti. Let me write over here marbles. Okay, so totally both of them have 45 marbles. Okay, there are 45 marbles, but it is not informed that how many marbles John have and how many Jivanti have. Okay, but it is saying, okay, when we don't know what we can do, we can take something, right? Let us see what it is saying in the question. It says both of them lost 5 marbles each. Okay, fine. So we know that the total number of marbles are 45. Let me write over here. Total number of marbles are 45. Suppose if I say the marbles John have is X, then the marbles Jivanti have would be 45 minus X. Correct? Just because out of 45, X is already distributed with John. So therefore, whatever remaining from 45 is given to Jivanti. Okay? Hope you're understanding this. Fine. So now we have a certain distribution over here. Out of 45 marbles, X is given to John, and remaining 45 minus X is for Jivanti. And what else is given? The cost of and the product of numbers or number of marbles they now have is 124. So the first condition is saying the product, that means the multiplication of the number of marbles they have. So X multiplied by 45 minus X. Correct? Now product of these two gives us how much? 124. That's what the question is saying. Correct? These are the marbles with John and these are the marbles with Jivanti. And what it is saying that the product of their quantities is equals to 124. Okay. And then we would like to find how many marbles they had to start with. Okay. So we are asked to find the number of marbles they had in the beginning. Like we need to find what is value of x and what is the value of 45 minus x. Fine. So let us try to multiply this. What we are going to get? We are getting 45x minus x multiplied by x. It is x squared equals to 124. So when we shift the terms, what you are going to get is x squared minus 45x plus 124 equals to 0. So what we are getting over here is called a quadratic equation because the highest degree of the equation is 2. Understood? So that's how we create a quadratic equation out of the real life scenarios. Fine. Let me give you a few more examples. Okay. Let's go down a bit. Fine. So now we understood what is quadratic equations and we have seen how to generate a quadratic equation out of a real life scenario. Now let us try to understand few different examples. It is saying they are given with some examples, some equations, and they are asking us to check whether the equations are quadratic or not. So how to find it? It's very simple. Whatever is given, like first of all in the example 1, it is given that x minus 2 squared plus 1 equals to 2x minus 3. Okay, so whenever you're not sure, you expand whatever you are having in the equation. Like in this case we have a minus b whole squared, so we are going to use that. So x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus 1 equals to 2x minus 3. Okay, now let us shift this 2x to left hand side and this 3 to the left hand side as well. So what you're going to get is x squared minus 42x minus 2x and plus 4. So 4 plus 1 we are having 5 and plus 3 equals to 0. So we have x squared. Oh, why did I write 42x? So it's a bit strange. Let me just remove this. Okay. So it is x squared minus 4x minus 2x and 4 plus 1 it's 5, 5 plus 3 it's 8. So now we can say that it is x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals to 0. So this is the quadratic equation we needed. Okay, we needed. Now the question is check whether the quadratic equation. So we are asked to find if it is a quadratic equation. So when we have simplified this form to this form, we already understood that it is a quadratic equation. So this is the way we check whenever we get an equation and we are asked to find if the equation is quadratic or not. You should be aware that the square terms don't have, generally we have the coefficient over here, like in this case also we have 1. So we need to make sure that the coefficient of x squared term should be non-zero. Correct? Only then it will be quadratic. Okay. Let us solve one more example of this kind. Okay, let's solve this. X multiplied by x plus 1 plus 8 x plus 2 x minus 2. No, x into x plus 1 plus 8 equals to x plus 2 x minus 2. Okay, let us solve this question. Now before coming to any conclusion, we have to expand the brackets given. So what we are going to do is, let us open this bracket. So x multiplied by x, it is x squared. X into 1, it is x, plus 8 equals to, now let us multiply this. This is x plus 2, x minus 2. Correct? Just like a squared minus b squared. What happens in a squared minus b squared? A squared, a minus b multiplied by a plus b. Similar situation we have over here in the right hand side. Correct? The only difference is in place of a we have x, and in place of b we have 2. So in that case, this becomes a squared minus b squared. So x squared minus 2 squared. Okay, so this is what we have now. Now let us see that we have x squared terms on both the sides, and both are positive, so they are going to get uh, nullified. Okay, so what we are remaining is x plus 8 equals to, this is negative 4. So this gives us x equals to negative 4 and negative 8. So that should be uh, negative 8. That should be negative 12. So that's uh, anyway, because we don't have to even come till here, because we don't have square terms. Once the square terms are gone, then it is not a quadratic. So I can write it here itself, not a quadratic equation. Okay, fine, let's move ahead. Okay, we have one more question to check if it is a quadratic or not. Okay, x plus 2 whole cubed equals to x cubed minus 4. So this is the question we have, and we have to check if it is a quadratic or not. For that reason, we have to improve this by expanding the this bracket. So how we are going to expand this? We have an algebraic formula, a ready-made formula: a plus b whole cubed is equals to a cubed minus 3 a cubed plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed. So this is the formula. So we are going to use this here. Okay, let us just apply. This x would be in place of a, and this 2 will be in place of b. So that would be x cubed plus 3a squared, so 3x squared, b is 2, plus 3x 2 squared, so 3x 2 squared, and plus b cubed is 2 cubed. Correct? Fine then. So what happens to this equation? We already have, this is nothing but the expansion of the brackets, and in the right hand side we have x cubed minus 4. So since we have x cubed on both the sides, we are going to cancel it down. Now let us see what we are remaining with. So we have 3 2s are 6, x squared plus this is 2 squared, it is 4, 3 4s are, it's 12x, and this is 2 cube, it's 8, equals to negative 4. So now what we are going to get is 6x squared plus 12x. Let us bring this over here. So 8 plus 4, it is 12. So what we have got here is a quadratic equation. Even before that, we can see that we have a common factor over here, right? We have a common factor. Can you see that? We have a common factor. We can see that we have 6 as common factor. So let's remove that out. So what are you going to get? X squared plus 2x plus 2 equals to 0. And dividing both the sides on 6, we are left with x cubed So x squared uh, x squared plus 2x plus 2, and this 6 is going to get divided on both sides, so we are going to get 0. So what we are left with is x squared plus 2x plus 2. But is it a quadratic equation? We can see that the highest degree of the variable in the equation is 2. In that case, it is a quadratic. So that's how whenever equations are given in different ways, we just have to keep calm and expand and see wherever it is necessary. We just have to uh, yeah, any doubt, Ayush? Okay, so what I was trying to say is whenever you are given with uh, a complicated equation, you just have to expand this using algebraic formula and see if you can simplify further. And whenever you are done with the simplification, you just have to check the highest degree of the equation. Once it is highest degree of the equation is 2, then it is called as quadratic equation. Okay, there's a few more examples. Okay, we can solve this one. Okay, we can do this. Okay, Nishijao. Yeah, fine. The question says x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 1 equals to x minus 2 cubed. Okay, we have a regular expression on the left hand side. Let us expand this with the formula a minus b whole cubed. What is a minus b whole cubed? It is a cubed minus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared minus b cubed minus b cubed. So this is the formula. So let us apply this. What you're going to get is, in place of x, a, we have x, in place of b we have 2. So on applying that, what we are going to get is x cubed minus 3x squared multiplied by 2 plus 3x 2 squared minus b cubed, that is 2 cubed, it is 8. Okay, so what we are left with is x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 1 x cubed. Let us multiply this 3 and 2. We are going to get 6. And then what we are going to do is just, it is 6x squared. And this one, 2 squared multiplied by 3, it is 4 3s are 12. 12x negative 8. Correct? Okay. So now we can see that. Hope everything is correct over here. Yeah. Okay, we can see that x cube terms we have on both the sides, so we are going to nullify this. So what we are going to have here is, we have negative 6x squared, so we are going to shift this on left hand side, so we are going to get positive 6x squared, and we have negative 4x squared already on the left hand side, and we have negative x, and we have positive 12x on the left hand side. Let us shift that as well, so we are going to get negative 12x, and we already have 1 on the left hand side. Then we are going to shift negative 8, so it will be positive 8, and in the right hand side we have 0. So here what we are going to see is 6x squared minus 4x squared, it is 2x squared. X minus 12x is minus 13x. 1 plus 8, it is 9 equals 0. Fine. So now what we can see here is the highest degree of the equation is 2. So therefore it is called as quadratic equation. So we have seen what are quadratic equations, and what we have seen a few more examples regarding how to form quadratic equation. And also we have seen some more examples to identify which are quadratic equations. Okay. Mm, okay. Now there is one more scenario. We are given one more scenario. We just have to find the equation. Okay. And we have to check if it is a quadratic equation or not. So example question, saying the product of two consecutive positive integers is 306. Two consecutive positive integers. Okay. So what should be the consecutive positive integers? Like integers always have a difference of 1, correct? So suppose if the one integer out of them is x, then other has to be x plus 1 or x minus 1, right? Both are same. So I'm trying to take x plus 1. So these are the two consecutive positive integers, and they're saying the product of these two positive integers is 306. Okay. So when you multiply, right, when you multiply these two quantities, what we are getting, I'm going to tell you now. Okay. X into x plus 1 equals to 306. Yeah, that's correct. So we have two positive integers, consecutive positive integers, which are unknown. So I've taken one as x and other as x plus 1, and we are informed that the product of two consecutive pairs positive integers. So that's what we are doing. We are multiplying, correct? And that should be equal to 306, and we need to find the integers. So we need to find the value of x as well. So let's expand this bracket. We are going to get x squared plus x, correct? And this 306 was our right hand side. I have shifted to the left hand side. Now we have to find the factors. So we don't have to go for that, because that we are going to solve in the next lecture. But in this lecture we are only seeing what are quadratic equations and how to identify them, how to form them, even if the equations are given, how to identify them. So now we can see that the highest degree of the equation is 2. So therefore this equation is the quadratic equation. So similarly, we have seen few more examples before this. I just want to remind you that if you haven't subscribed our channel, please subscribe our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you can get further updates as soon as we update. So you might get it. And please visit our website www.letstute.com for a wide range of courses on maths and science. Find them. So this is it for this session. I just wanted to discuss what are quadratic equations. We have seen that the quadratic equations are the equations where the highest degree of an equation of any variable in a single variable is 2. So we have started with an example of a garden and the area, length and breadth of the garden, and we have seen that quadratic equations are emerged from the real life scenario. Yes, of course it is. And in quadratic equation, one is a standard thing, is that the highest degree of the equation is 2, and the coefficient of second degree coefficient uh, is should not be equals to 0. So only then we can say that it is a quadratic equation. And we have seen some examples over here, and also we have seen some algebra going on. So yeah, so that's it for today, and it was a nice session today to start with a quadratic equation. And we don't forget to come next time. We are going to start with the first method to solve quadratic equation, that is factorization method, one of the most important method which most of the people find it difficult to get it. But we'll see how to solve quadratic equations using factorization method and how to find factors. So even that is very important. So see you next time with the factorization method. Till then, take care. Bye bye.